Welcome to the podcast, Let the Prophet Speak. Today we are going to complete the book of the prophet Zephaniah, the Navi Zephaniah. And today we are doing the second part of chapter 3, that's 3b. And this is Saul Weiner, the host of your podcast. We're starting from verse 11 and reading until the end of verse 20 today. In 3a, the last part we just read, God was focusing on all of the nations of the world and saying that all of the nations of the world are going to come to Zion, to Jerusalem, and serve God together as soon as they all humble themselves before God and get rid of their arrogance and their pride. And now God is going to focus on the people of Israel, specifically the people of Jerusalem and Judah. So he changes his focus from the worldly focus to the people of Yehudah. It is really important for me to point out here, as I have pointed out on many occasions throughout the words of many of the prophets, through Isaiah many times, through Micah, through Amos, and now through Zephaniah, that the idea, the vision is that the entire world will worship God together. This is the vision of that Bayomahu, that day in the future. The mission of the people of Israel is to be a beacon of light to the rest of the world, to be that beacon of light that demonstrates true humility before God, true honesty, true purity of speech, and most importantly, the two key ideas of justice and righteousness. These are, Zephaniah himself mostly focuses on humility. So that's kind of his thing, so to speak. But it's important to realize that it is this vision that the people of Israel are meant to teach to the rest of the world, so that the rest of the world looks up to the people of Israel, looks up to Zion and Jerusalem and the people that reside there, and then join them, so that ultimately everyone is together. The purpose is so that ultimately the entire world knows and hears and understands this lesson, and everyone worships God all as one. So there should be no divisions, shechem echad, no divisions between nations anymore. This second part of Zephaniah is one of the places where the idea that I just expressed is most clearly expressed. Remember, in 3a, God just finished telling the entire world that he wanted them to get rid of their pride, look to Zion, and join b'shechem echad, shoulder to shoulder, join together to worship God. So let's start reading verse 11. Hayomahu, on that day, Lo tevoshi mikol alilotayach. No longer will you, God is directing his words at Israel specifically now, at Judah, the people in Jerusalem. You will no longer be embarrassed or ashamed because of all of your bad ways, your sins. Asher pashat bi, that you sinned against me. Why? Ki oz asir mikirbech. By then I will have removed from you, or alizei gavasech, all of those people who were so happy and full of glee in their own pride and their own arrogance and their own haughtiness. I will have removed them from you. I will have purified the people. Below sosifi l'gov ha'od, and no more will you act prideful with your faces up in the air and your neck held straight. Od bahar kachi, on my holy mountain. On my holy mountain no longer will people that are arrogant and haughty reside. We had very similar ideas expressed early on in Isaiah and in other places as well, that the people dwelling in Jerusalem will be people of purity and holiness. V'hisharti b'kirbech, God says in verse 12, and who will I leave among you? Am ani vadol, people that are poor and humble. This clearly does not mean poor in the sense that they didn't have any worldly goods, but poor in the sense that they did not have any pride. People that are humble, people that are v'chasu b'shem Adonai, people that have faith and find refuge in God's name and not in their own power, their own might, their own silver and gold, their own wealth, etc. Sheiris Yisrael, those that remain of Israel in those days, lo yasu avla, will no longer be people that deal deceitfully with others. V'lo yidabru chazov, they will no longer be people that speak dishonestly. V'lo yimotzei b'fiem lashon tarmis, they will no longer speak in sneaky, tricky ways to try to take advantage of other people. Why? Ki hema yir'u v'ravtzu v'yein machared. They will graze the land, they will rest upon the land, and they will no longer be anyone to bother them anymore. They will be perfect people. And then, Rani Bas Zion, rejoice, daughter of Zion. You people that now live in Zion, the daughter of Zion, the people that come from Zion, rejoice. You can be happy. Hariyu Yisrael, now that you finally rid yourselves of this false pride, of the lying, cheating, deceit, oppressing others, and so on, of gaining wealth, and just for the sake of being better than others, now you can finally be happy. Now you can finally sing Simchi, you can rejoice for all Z, and be overjoyed, rejoicing and happy with your full heart, Bas Yerushalayim, daughter of Jerusalem. Heisira Adonai Mishpatayach. God has finally removed the judgments that were against you. Pino Oivech, He has cleared away all of your enemies. Melech Yisrael, you, the king, the leader of Israel, now Adonai B'kirbech, God is now among you Himself. Lo tir'i ra'od, you no longer need to be afraid of any evil befalling you. It is this is what Israel is supposed to look like. This is how the Israel is supposed to present themselves to the rest of the world, so that the rest of the world follows in their light, as we see in the next coming verses. Bayomahu, in those days, Ye Omer li Yerushalayim. What will then people say about Jerusalem? They will say, Al tira'u'i, do not be afraid. This is people saying to Jerusalem. They will they will see the beauty and the wonder and the incredible goodness of the people that dwell in Jerusalem, that the world will tell Jerusalem, you have no need to be afraid of us anymore. Zion, Zion, al yirpu yadayach, don't be scared, don't let your hands soften and tremble with fear from us. You have nothing to be afraid. No one would ever hurt you. Adonai Elohayach b'kirbech, it will be so seen that the people of the world will look at Jerusalem and say, look, your God, He's with you, He's among you. Gibor Yoshia, He's powerful, He will save you. You have nothing to be afraid of. Yosis alayach b'simcha. He is rejoicing over you with such happiness. Your relationship between you and your God is so beautiful, so wonderful. Yacharish bi'ava so. That phrase, Yacharish bi'ava so, could mean Yacharish generally means he will be silent in his love. And the commentaries explain that this means, what does it mean to be silent in his love? The Radak and the Even Ezra both explain that it means he will be silent, meaning he won't criticize you anymore. No more criticism, because he loves you so much. Yagil alayich birina. He will rejoice over you in song. This is how the world, this is just such a beautiful idea, that the world will look at the people of Jerusalem and love them so much because they are so humble, so pure, so honest, so perfect, that they will just see in front of them the relationship, the special, beautiful relationship that God will have with His people, and they will then join, and they will become Shem Echad. This is the idea that Zephaniah is telling us here. Nugei mimoed, this is verse 18. Those people, Nugei mimoed, I'm going to say there's two translations. The Radak explains that those that have been in pain so much because of Moed, because of the time it has taken so long, or the Even Ezra, and the way I'm going to translate it though is as follows, the way the Even Ezra does it, because it flows a little better with the rest of the verse. Those who have been painfully taken away, Moed, from that place, the place of Moed, the place of meeting, the place where people got together with you, God, and rejoiced and celebrated the Moed, the holidays. In other words, that place, Jerusalem, the place Zion, Nugemi Moed, those people that have been taken away from that place, Osafti, I have gathered them back. Mimech hayu, they were taken, they had been away from you, but I have gathered them back to you. Maseis aleha cherpa, I have now, Maseis aleha cherpa, I have carried their shame. In other words, they have carried over you shame for so many years, but no longer. And let's look at verse 19, Hineni. Now God is speaking no longer in the name of the God is no longer describing what the nations of the world are going to say, but rather He's saying, Hineni, I, God, Oseh es kol ma'anayich bo'esahi. I will do away, Oseh, I will do away with all of those people who make you suffer in that day. V'hoshati es atzolea, and I will redeem the crippled ones, the ones who are crippled and suffering throughout the world in the long exile. I will save them, I will redeem them. And the ones that have been far flung and strayed through far away to the ends of the earth, I will gather them. And I will place them as people that are in great name, fame, and honor and glory. Everyone will look at them, and they will be the ultimate in the great, wonderful reputation and the great name that they'll have. Throughout the entire world, I will take their shame away. In other words, in the entire world, I will take that shame away and make it into that fame and honor that I just described. In that day, I just want to point out again this description of God saying that how He's going to change the reputation of the people of Israel because of their humility and because of their honesty. This is such a powerful idea, and what a responsibility it places upon the Jewish people who come back to Israel and come back and populate the land and build the land. They're there not to make themselves great, not in order to have pride in themselves and arrogance and so on. That is the exact opposite of the entire point of the return to Jerusalem. The point of the return to Jerusalem is humility, is honesty, it's proper speech, it's no more oppression, it's peace. It's teaching the entire world this lesson so that everyone should look up to them and say, this is how we want to be. This is how people are supposed to be. These are the people that we want to follow. These are the people that we want to join, so that we all bring everyone to the worship of God. And then he ends with the final verse, pounding this idea again, in that day of Eschem, I will bring you back, God says, and at the time, Kabtzi Eschem, when I do gather you together, I will gather you. Ki etein eschem, I will make you l'shemu l'tehila. I will make your renowned and famous, is how the JPS translates. B'chol amei haaretz, more than all the other nations of the world, I'm going to make you that way. Remember how? Because you are going to be the nation Ani v'dol v'chasu b'shem Hashem. That is how I, God, will make it. That was how we just said in the verse. We will be the nation of people that are humble and look for refuge in God instead of in themselves and in their own power and in their own money. When I return all of the people that are coming back to Jerusalem, and right in front of your eyes, Omar Adonai, so says God. And with this, we end the beautiful, small but powerful book of Zephaniah. Thank you so much for studying this book together. Looking forward to studying together more and more books of the wonderful words of the prophets.